I think the Reinge clinic is different because Ian actually makes it very personal in the way that his approach to you when he's actually assessing your whatever your problem is. He takes the time to actually ask you the questions, wait for you to reply, and actually he has this expression on his face, a bit like a mechanic working on a car. You know, you bring your car in, and you tell the mechanic what's wrong with it, and he looks and he listens, and he says, let me have a look. Ian has this habit of looking, and as you're talking, and I can see he's figuring it out. He knows how the body works, he knows how the muscles are connected, and then he'll go, I think I know what we need to do, and I think, great. And and sure enough, we go into a process, and he works out a program for me, just as you've seen previously, and so long as I do the exercises, it works out really well. So yeah, I've been here for 12 years. Why do I keep coming back? Well, previously before I came across Ian, I tried several different physiotherapists, with not much success really. They were either, I could sense that they were in a time scale, so they could only give me half an hour or 45 minutes, and within that time I didn't feel that I really got personal service. I felt more like I was the next person they were waiting to see, and there's another person after that. Whereas with Ian and what they do at the Reinge clinic is that they come in and they see you, and they really try and make sure they give you a rounded solution to your problem. They take the time basically to sort of figure out what's going on. And over the years, I think what happens is when I do come here, I feel like I'm getting a personal service, which is what I do expect, but not everybody provides that. And I travel. I've been around and I've met quite a few physiotherapists over the years, but I haven't had the same sort of personal service, but also the education. Because what's really important about this is education, where you've got a physiotherapist that doesn't just treat you, but actually educates you as to what the problem is, so you know not to do it again. I think the knowledge that the Reinge clinic has is pretty extensive actually, as regards they seem to know about how the body, the structure is made up, everything else, and whatever questions I ask them, I always get a full answer. And the thing is, you can go to a physiotherapist and actually have them fix a problem that you have, but there's a difference between going to a physiotherapist to fix a problem but also tells you what you've done wrong, and if anything not to do it again, and also give you the exercises to go away and practice. And if you don't practice exercises, the problem can come back, especially if it's repetitive, where in my case previous, due to my job and the way I was slouching over a desk, it meant I kept having these recurring problems. But Ian said, look, if you do these sort of exercises that I give you, then on a regular basis it'll keep that at bay unless you change your posture. But also I always ask him questions because I want to learn about my body and what it's doing. And as I'm doing that, it also helps me increasing my knowledge of what actually is going on in my body. So, and they're happy to share their knowledge. There's never a time they're always happy to help. Ian has a special way of, when he's actually manipulating the muscles, he can find the knots in a muscle, which I find really fascinating. Just through touch and feel, he's very sensitive, and he can pick up the smallest things. And if I come in with a problem, whether it be in my leg or my arm or my shoulder or something, after I describe the situation, he'll go right to that very spot exactly, which I find really strange. And he feels around sometimes and he'll find something and he goes, is it that? And I go, it is. And I'm thinking, how do you know exactly where it is to pinpoint it exactly? And that's what through knowledge and his years of experience, that's what he does. It's amazing. Well, what's interesting, what I've learned through the knowledge is that, when I first came to Reinge Clinic, and I had a problem with my arm, and I had a problem with my wrist as well. Now, the wrist problem that I had, I'd probably seen about 4 physiotherapists prior to coming to Ian, and they couldn't solve the problem. Right? So I was walking around with this wrist problem for about 15 years. And I came to see Ian, and sure enough, I told him what was going on. The first time I ever met him, and sure enough, he did that look, and he listened, and he went, I know what that is. And he went straight away, bang, well, that hurts a bit. He goes, it will at first, but you need to do this, and we'll massage it, and I'll do this. And that problem's gone. It doesn't reoccur. But also he explained what caused it and how I did it. The second time, about a year later, I pulled a muscle in my shoulder, and again I came to see him, and he sorted it out, and he told me, and so I now know how to lift things, how not to do things, how to stand, how to do various things with my body. And actually, one of the things I've also learned is that he says, when you actually pull a muscle or something, don't ignore it. You need to have it looked at straight away. The longer you leave it, is the more one muscle affects the other, and you get a chain reaction. I didn't know that. So I'm learning about how these things work. So yeah, it's about education. And so the bottom line is I keep my body in the best condition as I can, just like a car. You have to have your car MOT'd. I come and see Ian and he gives me a good MOT and he keeps me up. I can go out, it means I can earn my living, I can do my sports or whatever else, and I can run around and do whatever. And I'm fairly fit because I know how to look after my body through the education that they've given me.